So I picked up something today that should give you guys something nice to look at the background, because I am aware that the wall is quite bland behind me. But hey guys, how's it going? I wanted to make a short video today just going over religion and socialism. I see it discussed a fair amount, but I kind of just wanted to share my opinion on it. It shouldn't... Now, as you guys probably know, or could probably at least guess based on how much I resemble a neckbeard without even having a neckbeard, I myself am an atheist. In fact, like most edgy teenagers, around the age of 13 I'd spend a lot of time debating online about religion, or just making a scene in my RE classes. But today we're not really talking about the existence of God, but rather how it relates to socialism as an ideology and a society. So first off, I want to talk to everyone who identifies as a religious socialist of any kind, that being Christian socialist, Islamic socialist, whatever. Honestly, to me, the idea of labeling yourself as any kind of religious socialist seems unnecessary and just kind of dumb. I mean, when you develop for yourself your own kind of ideological special snowflake label, for instance, libertarian, Zizekhian, Leninist, Trotskyist, you choose these labels because they're essentially taking different economic, political, or cultural aspects from each other and adding them all together into one. Religion, though, has no economic theory, and all its political and cultural theory, going by mainstream religions at least, are directly opposed to socialism. I see some people saying that because Jesus shared or whatever, that makes it socialism, but that's horribly oversimplified and actually just kind of unnecessary to have in the first place, because a lot of the traits that you would see in Jesus that you're saying are compatible with socialism are already imbued in socialism to begin with. Just kind of like calling yourself a socialist. Furthermore, not only are the actual tenets of a lot of these religions not really compatible with socialism at all, but it's a well-known fact that Marxist analysis says that religion will fade away from society with the birth of socialism. That means you follow one thing, but you also follow another thing that when implemented will phase out the other thing. Now, I know not all socialism has to follow Marxist analysis, but if it's not, then that's a whole host of other problems we got to deal with. Now, don't get me wrong though, I am by no means saying that you can't be religious and a socialist at the same time, but what I am saying is that you should be religious and a socialist, not a religious socialist. These two things need to be independent of each other, because you can't just mix them to form a new ideology. It's like calling yourself a gaming socialist or something. Now let's talk about religion in a socialist society. There's sometimes the question of whether or not we should repeat what the USSR did and how it dealt with religion, in by forcibly trying to remove it from society, destroying places of worship, etc, etc. I think the general opinion among leftists is no, and here's why. As religion is a product of capitalism, when capitalism is done away with, religion will subsequently fade away. It's the same logic as you could apply to racism, sexism, the state. We can see that religion correlates strongly with worsening economic and material conditions, and I think proof of this would probably be the Middle East, where, what was it, only the 80s or 90s, they had a progressive industrializing economy with good living standards, and now that their economy and living standards have gone to shit, their relative secularism has turned into Islamic fundamentalism propagating throughout the entire region. This means that there's no reason for us to actively hunt down religion. We just need to make sure that religion has no place in politics or the state. And a lot of first world countries have already accepted this under capitalism anyway. Some are still catching up to that, looking at you America, but nonetheless. I mean, even in places like America though, a lot of places of worship are more used as just social places to bring a community together rather than an actual religious thing. Eventually, as socialist society progresses, there'll only be social things, and we can keep the pretty buildings around as historical culture. If we were to actively try and remove religion though, it would resist, and because of this become stronger in itself, as they'd feel like they're being persecuted, rather than just willingly over the generations giving it up. Lastly though, it's probably important to mention that while people under socialism and capitalism should be allowed to follow whatever religious teaching they like, they shouldn't be allowed to implement those cultural or political values among the already decided cultural and political values in society, and that's already been decided. But I don't really think this is really too much of a problem anyway, as much as some particular groups would try and push, but it's worth just throwing in there, you know? So if anyone still believes that they can put a religious prefix to a socialist ideology, please let me know in the comments, because I'd love to hear why. But either way, thanks for watching.